Hi besties, what is up? It's a new week and welcome to a new reading vlog. This week my mission is to finish up 8 books in the next 7 days. Yeah, I know, it's very ambitious, but I feel like this week I can do it. Recently I've been in like a really great reading momentum. Last week I came out of my like 1000 reading slump this year, and I'm reading at a really good pace. I have like fast-paced books going on, and I just want to ride that momentum and get a lot of reading done this week. We are going to finish up 8 books, and I'm just gonna take you guys along with my journey. I actually was not gonna vlog this because I wanted to take like a little break and just read for myself, but I did like a community post and an Instagram poll, and the general consensus over there was like, you guys want to vlog. So I made a deal with you guys that I will vlog, but I won't be that dedicated to that vlog, because even if I'm vlogging, my main goal is going to be finishing these books, so I won't have any montages. Like, I may still film a few here and there, but mostly what you can expect is just me coming here every few hours and giving you guys a little update on where I'm standing in terms of the reading journey. I made like a schedule for myself over here, you guys can see, and looking at this schedule, it feels very realistic because most of the books that I've chosen for this week are kind of short ones, because I need that motivation, I need that number to go back up, because just being consistent when it comes to my reading really motivates me to read a lot more. And right now, if I open my Goodreads, I'm 8 books behind schedule, maybe even 9. So I just want to get on track. Yeah, let me catch you guys up, because today is actually Tuesday and it's not Monday, and that is because I was not planning on vlogging, and then last minute I decided to vlog this last night after seeing your guys' vote. So let me quickly catch you on what I did yesterday. Yesterday I read 100 pages of Red Queen by Juan Gomez Jurado. I'm doing this as a buddy read with my Instagram friend Swati, and we've been reading this over the past 3 days, and yesterday we did like the second half of the part 2 of the book. We just have the part 3 and an epilogue, so that's about 96 something pages. So I am very excited to finish this book. Last night ended on a cliffhanger, so I just want to know what happens. The storytelling has been really good so far. The characters are very interesting. There's a lot of interesting things going on plot wise as well, and there is a lot of mystery, thrill and suspense in the story. Then I read about like 5 to 10 pages of Yellowface. I don't know, like my reading journey with this book has been like quite a tumultuous one. Like, I started reading this as soon as I got it, but then I fell sick, so I put it away, and after that I just like did not have that like strong feeling to pick it back up. But this week I intend to finish it. I listened to about 2.5 hours of Sweet Bean Paste by Durian Sukikawa. It's so sweet, it's so comforting, and I can't wait to finish the last 2.5 of the stories today. Now it is Tuesday and my goal is to finish up Red Queen. I have, as I said, 96 pages left. Then I want to finish up the entirety of Yellowface. I did last night start an audiobook trial on audiobooks.com, because they were the only ones who had a Yellowface, which was on like a free trial. Yeah, I'm just gonna listen and read, do like my combined thing, because it just goes by very quickly. And then I'm gonna also finish up the last 2.5 hours of Sweet Bean Paste at the speed that I'm listening to, 1.7x. It's gonna take me 1.5 hours, so it's gonna be like a very chill yet kind of like a very active and it's gonna be like a big reading day today. I will see you in a bit. Bye. Hi, what is up? It is about 2 hours later and I just got done with Red Queen by Juan Gomez Jurado, and I really loved it. When we were done with like a part 1 of this book, and at that time I told her that it felt very Dan Browny in terms of the setup of it, because it's very fast paced, it's very high stakes, and a lot of things are happening in a very short amount of time, which is typically what Dan Brown is known for. It's so fast paced, it's so thrilling, And the main thing which I really liked about this one in comparison to Dan Brown books is that how invested I was in the characters. The author has given so much depth and complexity to all of the characters. We understand who they are from their backstory. The author has done such a great job bringing her to life, and I really like, I was rooting for her, I cared for her, and I was worried along with her, and I was worried for her. It was really good in terms of that. The climax of it was amazing, and just the way everything played out in the end was like really intense. I was worried, like, is this going, and like each little chapter section ended on like a cliffhanger where I was like okay, like what does this mean? Like I need to read the next thing. If it were not for the buddy read that I was doing with Swati, I would have definitely finished this in like maximum 2 sittings. Translation of this by Nick Caster. It was also very well done. Like the story felt very natural. It did not feel translated. At least for me, in terms of mystery thrillers, as low-key and as natural and as no personality writing is, it really just removes the veil between you reading the book and you experiencing the book. Like the writing has to be so perfect where it's not too good that you're focusing on the writing, and it's not too bad that you are focusing on the writing. Like the writing should not be the focus of a mystery thriller, in my opinion. I was not paying attention to the writing of the book, which I know sounds very like kind of insulting to the writer and to the translator, but it is actually like a really big compliment, where they've done such a great job at bringing the story to life, where it does not feel as if you're reading. Like I was there in Madrid, I was there experiencing the story with them, I was there with my heart rate up. Okay, I will see you once I'm done bathing Kulfi, and I'll give you guys a little update on sweet bean paste. Bye. Bathing Kulfi is definitely one of like the most exhaustive things I ever have to do in life, because it just took me like the last 2 hours to bathe her, and she's all now clean. She's taking a little nap. She is such a baby. Every single time she gets a bath, then she's asleep for the rest of the day. It's just like being a normal human baby. But now that I am out of the shower, I'm gonna start with Yellowface. I am currently on page 30 exactly. I'm gonna start up the audiobook and I'm just gonna gulp down this book, because I know like whatever I've read so far, I've really enjoyed. The Amazon package which I got, it is actually such a gag thing. I expected it to work on the camera. It is like this mini microphone, but it does not work on the camera, and I'm so sad about it. Like you guys can see this, it's like a mini mic. Hi, so this is, I wanted to connect it to the camera and just like have like a little podcasting style videos every now and then. Definitely should work on the phone. Wait a minute, let me quickly check if it works. Hi, what is up? This is mic test. Oh, this definitely works. Hi, what is it? This definitely works. I don't know if I want to keep it. I don't know whether I should keep it. It's fun, right? Like, hi. I'm gonna get started with Yellowface. I'll see you once I'm like sufficiently invested in the story. Hi, good morning. It is, what time is it? Like, it's 12:41 right now, and I've just been reading and doing some emails and random stuff. Let's like recap last night. I did not sit down and vlog once I finished Sweet Bean Paste, but before that, after unboxing the mic yesterday, I ended up ordering this little attachment, which I think so should be able to fix the problem which I have about the mic. Yeah, I think so this will work. It's like a converter where it will just like convert the pin into the pin which works for the camera. So let's. Okay, hi, what is up? You guys can hear me talk. See like I can see the audio level. It's recording. I've been meaning to add something else so that I can just have like have like some different type of fun when I'm recording, and I'm so happy. But yeah, let's recap Sweet Bean Paste by Durian Sukegawa. I don't think so there is like any review sort of thing which I can give for the book, because my intention with that book, like what I was expecting from that book, is just to have like a little like a comforting story which just is like good vibes all around, which does not have any tense climax or which does not have any intense build up. And I feel like this is like the perfect story for that. It is about Sentaru. Oh my god, I never can get these names right. It's about Sentaro, who is an ex-con, and he has like this dark past about why he was arrested and why he was sent to prison. But when he got out of prison, he starts to work in a dorayaki shop, which is Dora cakes. If you watch Doraemon, you know what it is. It's like a Japanese confectionery item. It's like a Japanese sweet type of thing. It is essentially made of sweet bean paste, which is filled in between two pancakes, and he's working over there. He's all alone, and then one day this woman named Tokue comes in the shop and asks whether she can work here. And Tokue is very different in terms of her appearance, because she has a very, very, very sad past, and her fingers are all gnawed, and just like she's not like proper looking is the only way I can describe. I can't say like she's ugly, because it's not like that. If you read the book, you'll understand why. And initially Sentaro, he decides to just push her away and not let her work, but she just wants to work there. She loves making dorayaki. She makes really good dorayaki. And so he was like, yeah, and he was like, I can pay her so less and get so much work done. And then everything, like the whole story is about finding your why, finding your like passion, and finding beauty in like the mundane. Like Sentaro wants to be a writer, but going to prison just completely altered his entire life, and so he's working at the dorayaki shop because he wants to pay off his debt. And he's just like not into making it, and he's just making it just for this. He's just treating it as a job, and over the course of the story they learn, and just like he just learns to appreciate the whole art of making dorayaki. And then we get to know about his past, we get to know about Tokue's past, which is honestly so sad. Like it's just full of so much injustice, and it's not sad, like it's not like a VP sad, like where when you're listening to it or when you're reading you want to cry. Like it does have a few moments like that, but it's just overall of like, oh you poor thing, like it's so sad, that type of vibe. And I knew I kind of like guessed the climax, because the story itself is a bit predictable, but that's not the point of the story, to have like a completely unexpected climax. It's more about the comfort of the story, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. It was like the perfect thing to listen to, where it was comforting me. It was just, I was going through the story, I was paying attention to the story, but I was not so like engrossed in the story that I was not able to pay attention to other things which I was doing. For example, going to and fro from my class, which is the perfect read for that. And I feel like in the future also I will be coming back to such comforting Japanese fiction books, so that I can listen to them, I can still get like a good listening reading experience, and at the same time it does not like affect my other things which I'm doing. And I give it like a four stars, like because it was nothing like too revolutionary, but at the same time it was really, really, really good. At night I started reading Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I'm currently on page 107. I'm running a little late on the schedule. Like I was supposed to be done with this book today, and I was supposed to be reading Our Wives Under the Sea right now, but I think so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish this before my evening classes. I have to leave for that at about 5:15 p.m. and once I come back from my class it's gonna be like 9:30 ish. and after that I'm gonna sit and finish up Our Wives Under the Sea tonight. Hi, what is up? It is 4:44 right now, and I am currently on page number 248 of Yellowface, and I am gonna stop reading for right now because I have to leave for my class. I'm really liking it so far. I'm liking it a lot. Like, the main character is definitely the wrong person, but at the same time, the way she's justifying everything, I kind of like, I'm feeling for her. Like, I am praying that nothing bad happens to her. Like, she gets out of this entire thing unscathed and she just finds her success. But I know it's very wrong. It is completely wrong. So much like inside scoop of the publishing industry. Like, you get all of the gossip. You get like a complete, not understanding, but because like there are many other things which are still not known for us, but you get to know like a lot about the publishing industry, how everything works. I decided to keep annotating it because I really like the look of it, but I don't think so I'll be annotating any other books this week because I just want to read and get done with it. As for the audiobook which I'm going to listen while I am gonna go to and from my class for the next few days is Orbiting Jupiter. I found like a person who is reading it out loud on YouTube, so maybe I'll listen to that or maybe I'll redeem a credit on Audible. I don't know. I'm not decided it yet. I think so. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna listen to the first chapter on YouTube, like see how it is, and if I'm able to just like grasp it very well, I might continue with it. Or if it's not working, then I'll redeem a credit on Audible. Yeah, that's like the update right now. Okay, hi. It is about 11:20 right now, and I just got done with Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I had so much fun reading this book. It was so fast paced. Like, this is probably the most fast paced book I've read this year so far, and I've read a lot of mystery thrillers. Like, so much happened throughout this entire book, and I honestly have no idea how I can explain it to you guys because, like, there is just so much to catch up. I just loved it. This is a book which could be considered like a villain's point of view book, where the main character is actually the villain. R.F. Kuang, Rebecca made me care for the villain for the first time. Like, June did a really horrible thing, but as the book went by, I was just rooting for June, which is honestly like, I am not the type of person who falls for morally grey characters or who falls for the villains and just like who sides with the villain. I'm always like, I'm on the side of the good. I'm like on the hero side. I'm on the heroine side. I am there for the main character. I'm there for the good character. Rebecca has written June the way she has written her mind. It's just so well written. It's so well written. It's so messy because that is exactly what it is. It's so messy. It's so self-righteous. It's just like she constantly paints herself as the victim in a really good light that you end up like, oh my god, like I know you did a bad thing, but like you don't deserve what's happening, you don't deserve the negativity, and you don't deserve like the cancellation. And it was just like fucking with my head because this is like, oh, that's the reason why I decided to give it like a 4.5 stars, because I am still very shook. I really liked the character, and Rebecca like made me like the villain, so that's why I'm giving this a 4.5 stars. Also, like another reason I cut like the 0.5 stars in the end is like I did not like see where the story was going in the end. Like, I feel like the story took like a completely different turn than what I had expected in the end, and just like the ending was not my favorite. It was still very good, like it was really good, but it just like was not where I saw the story to go. But again, it's not my point of view, it's the author's point of view, which like correlates to this book. And I'm kind of torn between whether I want to read Isaac and the Egg or Our Wives Under the Sea. This is supposed to be like a very it's supposed to be like a serious book because it talks a lot about belonging and just like loving someone who is slipping from your grasp, and it's supposed to be like heavy hitting, and I don't want to start this at night when I'm looking for something to pass very easily. And this is supposed to be like very comforting. It's supposed to be kind of very similar to the Midnight Library, and I feel like this is a book which I could definitely read right now. My expectations from this book are just to feel comforted and just to read a heartwarming and a life affirming story. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with this. Is this going to be like the designated spot for this vlog? It is like about 3:30. No, it's 3:11 right now, and I am currently on page 122 of Isaac and the Egg. I read about just like about 10 pages last night. I finished Yellowface quite late, and I was not very much like in the mood to switch over to different stories. I don't really have any particular feelings about the book because the storytelling so far has been like a little bit all over the place. I'm not like completely enjoying the way it is written. So far it's like very much average. When the plot is supposed to be moving forward, we go into these flashback reveries where like I feel like the flashback should come in when the plot of it like settles down a little bit, when the pacing of the plot slows down a little bit, and when you have the time in the plot to have like little flashbacks. Like over here there's one thing that there's a point where Isaac is in his bed and he smells something burning, and instead of going downstairs and checking what is burning, he goes into a flashback. I don't want to tell what it is about, like what the flashback is about, because I think so it will spoil the story, and like I feel like it should not come then. And I understand like it, like when it comes to reality, it could definitely happen the way it is depicted, but it does not make for like good storytelling. And that is like my little update right now. I am really hoping for the book to get better. Also the formatting of the book is also not my favorite. Like for example over here he cries out like he lets out like a big scream, and it's like formatted like and it goes on like about 2 pages. And okay, it makes sense over there, but there is this part over here where the bell rings and it's written like ding dong, and it just like is taking me out of like a reading. Like it's just is like it is kind of like a speed bump in my reading, and I'm not really appreciating that. Okay, so I want you guys to just like grab a glass of champagne, a glass of wine, a bottle of beer, a bottle of water, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever you want, and just give me a cheers, because I have the biggest update for you guys. Like after last time I spoke with you, I finished not 1, not 2, but 3 books yesterday. I last spoke to you guys yesterday afternoon, and I was reading Isaac and the Egg at that time. I had about like 100 pages to go, I think so, and then I just like decided to go out into a coffee shop and just like get just out of the house. So that's what I did. I went to a coffee shop and I finished up Isaac and the Egg by Bobby Palmer. After that, while I was commuting to my class and to the coffee shop, I was listening to Orbiting Jupiter by Carrie Schmidt. So I got through like about an hour of the audiobook while I was commuting, and I had like just 1 hour and 15 minutes or something left for me once I got back home at night. So I sat down, I finished that as well, and after that I could not sleep. I don't know what was up about it. So I started listening to No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai, and I finished that as well. So the audiobooks were very short. Both were like Orbiting Jupiter, the audiobook is just 3 hours and 19 minutes, and I was listening to it at like a really high speed. It went by very, very quickly, and the insanity, the absolute insanity, I listened to No Longer Human at honestly like an inhumane speed for me, at 2.2 times the speed, like 2.2x speed. Like It is crazy. It is fucking crazy. So let's quickly talk about the books that I've read yesterday. Isaac and the Egg by Bobby Palmer. I liked the story. I really liked the story. It's very heartwarming, it's very heartbreaking, but at the same time it's very healing. But the only thing that like I can say is like I did not like the execution of it. Like Isaac undergoes through a really really like the worst thing, the worst trauma life can throw at you. Isaac undergoes through it, and you just like see him come undone a lot, and then just like you see him come out of it, you see him start to heal. Oh my god, this is not it. Like, how do I deal with the sunlight? Yeah, you wait, I articulated this a lot better when I was writing my review on Goodreads. You guys should follow me over there, it's in the description box. Yeah, this is such a heart-touching story of grief, of healing, and just finding a purpose and finding like a reason to live. And it has a touch of whimsy, it like a large dose of reality, and like a deep look, and like a no filtered, like pull the curtains away type of look at a troubled mind. I laughed, I cried, and like the end felt just like so healing to my heart, because the way it ended, it was just like Isaac needs this, I also need it. So I really enjoyed the story of it. Bobby Palmer really brought Isaac to life. He was very fleshed out in my opinion, and the inside of his mind felt so tangible. Like I have not gone through anything as traumatic as this, but like I felt it. Like if something like that happened to me, I would not know how to do, like what to do with myself. And that like trauma, that shock, and just like that disbelief, it was conveyed very like very well. And his denial, his whimsy, his coping, his healing, and his life just felt so real. And I really loved Isaac as well. I really loved Isaac, and I really loved Egg as well. The Egg character felt just like a touch out of reality, because that is what it was supposed to convey. Only like criticism I have is that the execution of the story, the storytelling of it, the story formatting and the pacing of it could have been done a little bit better, because there were many times in the beginning where I was like, why the hell is this written that? I talked about this when I was updating the vlog, that like the plot is moving forward, like the plot heavy things are happening right now, and instead of focusing on that, instead of literally saving his house from a fire, he starts to like go into flashbacks, which I understand. Like when you are going through something really bad, your mind just does not work normally, but like it just did not do the story like the story could have been set up a little bit better. And I must say, like if you like Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine, this is the book for you, because it has very similar themes, and I really loved it. So yeah, I would recommend this to everyone. And after that, I just have like when I was writing the review for Orbiting Jupiter by Carrie Schmidt, I literally just wrote this much: pain, heartbreaking and heart mending pain. And then I wrote like, and this is a 4.5 stars book, and it's not a 5 stars only and only because it's a novella and it's not like a full-length novel. So in this book, I don't think I explained the plot of it to you guys ever. So in this book we follow Joseph, who is a 14-year-old boy who was placed in a juvenile facility. Then he was sent to a prison, and after that he is taken into the adoption system, and he is currently being fostered by a family in Oregon, I want to say. Like the state and the city could be wrong, but yeah, the family who is fostering him has a 12-year-old son, and the book is set from his point of view. So we follow him as he narrates Joseph's journey. Joseph was sent to the juvenile school because he ended up getting his girlfriend at the time pregnant. He has a daughter named Jupiter, and then once he was at the juvenile facility, someone gave him something. He was abused over there. He was abused by his parents in the past, and someone gave him a pill or something of that sort. And then what ended up happening is he attacked the teacher and nearly killed her. So he was sent to the prison, and that was just like a traumatic experience for him. And once he starts to get assimilated into this new foster family, his only desire is to meet Jupiter, because he knows he has a daughter, he knows he's a father, and all he wants to do is to be there for Jupiter. This book is just so, this is, it's not like a tear of jerking sad like it is, but it's not like a sobbingly sad story. It is just so painfully sad. Like when you are reading the book, you just can't help but feel so much sympathy and just so much sadness for what is happening to Joseph. And like with his background in going into juvenile facilities and into going to prison and stuff, like everybody at his school, the bus driver, his friends, his classmates, have like this completely how can I say it, just like a completely wrong view about him. Like he must be inherently bad, he must be like just like I think so, like he must be like the Tapori kind of person. Like that's like the only thing that comes in my mind, that he's just looked from a completely wrong point of view, and the only people who understand him are his foster family and his foster brother. And then the story just follows that, and we explore his search for Jupiter and his just journey to just knowing that she's happy, knowing that she's well taken care for. And the end just comes out of nowhere, and I just could not help but sob. Like I was listening to it, I was watching it, like the way I listened to this was actually, there's an English school teacher in the US somewhere who has narrated this book for her students. And while I was like watching the YouTube video, I was literally sobbing on my pillow. Like my pillow still is very wet because of it, but it was just so sad. And then the last chapter kind of like healed that sadness, because it was just so sweet, and I was like crying out of happiness because of that. So like it's such a short story, but it just conveyed so much emotion, and I really loved it. That is about Orbiting Jupiter. It's a 4.5 star book. Did I tell you for Isaac and Derek I give it like a 4 stars, maybe like a 3.75 4 stars. Let's get to the last book I have to review for you guys before I get started with today's reading. Is No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. Osamu Dazai is a very prolific Japanese writer, and this is his fictional and kind of like semi-autobiographical account of a person who is just no longer human. Like he views everything in life from a perspective which is just not right, which is kind of sociopathic, which is kind of psychotic. And it's just like, instead of looking things from a normal perspective, the main character Yozo, he's looking at things from just a completely wrong and weird narrative. Like he does not like when people like him, because he feels like he's cheating them, so he starts to tell lies, he starts to tell joke, and he just tries to be funny for other people so that people don't get to know the real him. And then just like we follow his entire life journey. And honestly, as I was listening to it, I don't think so like I understood this book that well, because like I got the point of the story and I got the point of the character. Like many of his discussions and his reflections on life, I could see them, I could understand them, but overall my entire feeling throughout the entire audiobook was like, okay, what about it? Like, because many of the things were so just out of pocket, and it's just like, I don't think so this was the book for me, because I just could not for my life get to understand and get to form like a connection with the character. Because if such a character existed in my life, I would just distance myself away from them, and I would just like kind of like cut them off from my life, because I don't need such people in my life. I know like this is like a very well known and a very well respected and a very well loved book, and I don't think so this was like the right book for me, because I just like for my life could not understand what was the reason. Like, you know that Cardi B meme, like, what was the reason of this story? Like, I get it, but at the same time, what about it? Like, that is like the only way I can describe it. So yeah, I give it like a 2 stars, because it was like a good listening experience. I understood the story, but I did not see the point of it. Yeah, that is like the update I have for you guys. It is Friday and so far I am at 6 books out of the 8 books that I've planned. Out of the 6 books, the only one which was out of plan so far is No Longer Human, otherwise all of them were planned. So today on my list are I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel and Our Wives in the Sea by Julia Armfield. I think so I'm going to start off with I'm a Fan because this is supposed to be like a dark, satirical and just like a fucked up book. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like this is like a unlikable main character who has a few points to make, and Anchal really loved it. She told me like you'll also like it, so I'm going on her opinion. And then we have this one. This is very intense and just very like lyrical and reflective, so I'm gonna keep this for night. But my main thing today is that I want to film the haul, which is supposed to go live tomorrow. Honestly, I don't know how much reading I'm gonna be able to do. I'll at least try to finish one of these, and the second one I'll finish up tomorrow. Yeah, because like my grandma is sick, so I think so we're gonna have to take her to the hospital. It's nothing serious, but it's just gonna take up a lot of time, and I don't want to start another audiobook because this week has been very audiobook heavy. I just want to give my ears a break because I feel like every single time the thought of physical book comes into my mind, I just have this urge to check whether it is available for free to listen somewhere on YouTube or on Audible or on some other website, so that I can have like a companion to reading, which is honestly not that great because as much as I love audiobooks, I love physical books, and I don't want to have to depend on an audiobook just to help me get through a physical book. So I'm gonna focus on this one today. Okay, hi. This is literally a week later. I am just now editing this video to get it posted in literally the next 2 hours, and I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a review for the next 3 books that I read. Things just got so hectic, capital HECTIC, after we took my grandma to the hospital because nothing serious was happening. Just it was very time consuming, as one might expect, but I did finish up these 2 books, as well as I finished up the audiobook for Dear Dolly. So after you guys saw whatever you guys saw up until now, I finished up I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel. Then I listened to Dear Dolly by Dolly Alderton on the way to and fro from the hospital, and then while I was staying over there, I finished up to like 160 pages of Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield, and then I finished up the last 50-60 pages, whatever were left, over this week. So I'm still gonna talk about all of these. So essentially I finished up like about 8.75 books in 7 days, but I'm still gonna count them as 9 because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. So yeah, let's talk about the books first. We have I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel. I actually really liked this one because like this was just so toxic, this was so messy, and this was such an amazing book. Honestly, the author, she has used the main character's toxic relationship with the man she wants to be with, and the obsessive stalking relationships with the woman she's obsessed with, to discuss and highlight so many important issues like racism, privilege, as well as social media addiction. It is just and like I did not expect this book to be so like lyrically written. Like it was so beautifully written. There were so many lines in this which were just so amazingly written. Like I underlined a lot of this book, which I was not expecting. I expected this to be like a fast-paced, toxic, like or kind of like a problematic story which I could just go through very easily, but this was the book actually which took me the longest. It's like about 203 pages, and it took me literally Thursday, Friday, Saturday to finish this book because I just don't know. I just did not know what was up with me. And also, like, she has created a narrative over here which explores like the deepest and like the hidden desires and like the hidden dark parts of a mind. And I was so shocked that I related to the main character when I like was trying really hard not to, because the main character is not a character you want to relate to. Like there is literally one chapter over here where I underlined the entire chapter because yeah, there is this one chapter, like you guys can see, I underlined this entire chapter. How did Sheena Patel get into the darkest corners of my mind? How did that happen? Because how? And how dare she write them out on paper and publish it and go best selling with it, as well as get shortlisted for the Women's Prize. So, shortlisted for Women's Prize. How dare she? Because these are my private darkest thoughts. Like, this was so incredibly written, and like this is like a must read for anyone who loves to read about the darkness of human mind and how just the human mind can do some fucked up things. Nothing fucked up happens in this book because it's all in the mind, but it is still as equally fucked up. I absolutely loved it, like a 5-star book. After that, I read Dear Dolly by Dolly Alderton. I love Dolly Alderton. I honestly, she is like one of my favorite not self-help, just like non-fiction authors, because I loved her memoir. It was just so fun to read. It had so much life advice in it without having to be life advice. Like she was not coming over here to preach. She was just telling her life experience and what she learned from it. So it was really, really, really great in that terms. And this novel, Dear Dolly, is kind of like a follow-up to that whole memoir. It's actually just pieces of advice from her Sunday Times advice column, and I just loved it so much. And over here in my Goodreads review, I've only written, why isn't Dolly my best friend or my older sister yet? I love her so much. Such good, well thought out and reflective advice. Dolly, be my friend. Like, this is my Goodreads review. It summarizes my experience with this book so perfectly well because it's just so good. Like, even though many of the things in this advice column which people were asking advice about, I did not relate about that, but the way Dolly has responded to all of them, it was so concise, it was so well thought out, it was so mature answers, and it really just changed up my perspective a lot. Like a lot, really a lot. It talks about love, friendship, life, body, sex, just mind, soul, and just like life in general. And Dolly Alderton has some like really great advice in this one. I really hope you guys also get to listen to it. Please listen to it, because Dolly Alderton, just a narration, it's like literally sitting with her in a cafe and talking to her, because it is just so natural, so natural. And I really loved it. Like a 5-star read. There's no point in just trying to pick out any criticisms in it, because it was just so good. I really loved it. I finished up Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. I finally read this one, and I'm so happy to have read this one, because this was just so strange, so niche, and just so good. Like, this was so good. Like, over here in my Goodreads review, I put over here as, there's no other option for me than to give this a 5 stars. This was so well written. The writing was just so sublime, so lyrical, and just so reflective. I feel like I'm like cementing the fact that I really love lyrical and reflective writing in books. This book is so strange, and this is so mysterious in a way, but at the core of all of it, it is so entirely, so like deeply human. So this book is about Miri and Leah. Miri is the wife of Leah, and Leah had gone to a submarine mission in the bottom of the sea. It was supposed to be a 3-week mission, but something happened and she ended up staying for 6 months. And that experience completely changed her, completely traumatized her, and she is no longer the same. Now she's back out of the submarine, and she's having some issues adjusting to normal human life. And this story is just about Miri, Leah, and this whole like this tangible difference that was pre-submarine Leah and post-submarine Leah. Like when you guys read the book, it just feels like there is like something tangible that is there between both of them. It's that grief, it's that trauma, it's that PTSD, and it was just so traumatic. It was so captivating. It was so beautifully haunting. It was so deep. Like, oh my god, this was so good. Like, over here, we see Miri struggling to get acquainted with Leah once again, because Leah is not the same anymore. Like, she is trying to find the same Leah which was there before she went in the submarine mission, and she's not getting it anymore. And Leah is also trying to get readjusted back to life, but she is just so deeply traumatized by the submarine incident. And it's just so haunting, it's just so beautifully written. And the conclusion of it, many people, like, at least for me in the beginning, I was like, this seems a bit strange, but then I decided to not look at it in like the literal sense as to what is going on. Decided to look at it in like the metaphorical sense of what was going on, and it was just so beautiful. It was just so beautifully tragic, and yeah, like a 5-star book, a five-star book. Actually, like this whole entire week was so good in terms of reading, because it was just so good. Like, I've read some of the best books of my year in this 1 week. I don't think so I will ever push myself this hard once again, because 9 books in 7 days is too much. It's too much. My brain was not functioning properly. Like, if you're watching until this point, that means you're watching at least like about 45 minutes of this video, because oh my god, I had like about 3 hours of footage, and I spent so much time trying to condense it this much. Actually, not so much time, because when I was editing Yellowface, the Yellowface portion of this video had to cut down 3 specific segments of the same clip where I was telling the same review again and again, because I don't think so I was processing what I was talking, and I was telling the same exact review again and again without even the slightest bit of sarcasm in it. I don't know what was going on. My brain went into like a full overload this week because of the amount of stories and the amount of emotions I was experiencing in my head. And don't get me wrong, when I say like I won't push myself this hard again, I have a mystery marathon scheduled for next week. So let's see how many books we can read for that one. Yeah, I hope you guys anyway enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to all of the publishers who sent me the books. Thank you so much to Hachette India for sending over Isaac and the Egg, HarperCollins India for sending over Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kwang, Penguin India for sending me I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel, Pan Macmillan India for sending over Red Queen and Our Wives Under the Sea. Yeah, and the rest were audiobooks I listened to on Audible India. They did not do anything for me yet. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do all the things like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys so incredibly much for watching this long of a video, because this is like the longest video I've ever posted on my channel. I was debating whether I wanted to split it into 2 parts, but it would not make sense, because I wanted you guys to see how like delirious I got at the end of the video. And I looked so horrible throughout this video because I was just so focused on finishing these books that I was not paying attention, like whether have I washed my face, is my face not oily, is my hair not oily. Like, I literally forgot to wash my hair this week. It's bad. Like, this is the real me. Like, when I'm reading obsessively, I literally don't give a fuck as to what I do and how I look. So you got the real deal. So yeah, subscribe if you're watching until this point. I hope you guys are subscribed, and bye.